I, John Beckwith Jr. Call in right now and ask the Undertaker any questions you'd like. Ladies and gentlemen, Golden Gate Funeral Home.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Undertaker. It's an open, honest look into funeral services brought to you by Golden Gate Funeral Home and Crematory. We are located in Dallas, also Fort Worth, Texas, and Tallulah, Louisiana. I'm John Beckwith Jr., and I'm going to be your host today, and I'm joined today by Miss Kenyatta Caldwell. Say good morning, Miss Kenyatta. Good morning. All right, today, we're going to talk a little bit about programs, funeral programs. One of the things that Kenyatta Caldwell does for Golden Gate Funeral Home is that she works in what we call our media department. Media department is responsible for many different things, but one of the things they're responsible for is funeral programs. Now, Golden Gate Funeral Home, we've been blessed. We bought these $1 billion machines, and we do all our programs in-house. From a large book to a small book to 16 pages, 20 pages, all the way down to a standard program that's made right here at our funeral home. What do you think about that, Kenyatta, us being able to make programs in-house?
It's very useful because many funeral homes, they do not have in-house printing.
And we say that because let's talk a little bit about the convenience of that. Normally when families are grieving, one of the most difficult things to do, and I found this out with my father's service, is to write a program. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Have you ever had to write a program for a family member?
Yes.
Okay. So she says yes, and she stopped right there. Let me tell you, I tried to write a program along with Jackie, trying to do the program for my father. Very difficult. Very difficult. Now, who knows all his family? It's me. Who knows my father? It's me. But it's a lot more went to the program than just the obituary section. I had to figure out an order of service. I had to figure out whose pictures is going to make it, whose pictures are not going to make it. Tributes had to make it. Whose tributes going to make it? Whose tributes is not going to make it? Interment, acknowledgments. Do I acknowledge everybody? Do I acknowledge somebody? The people I have on program, are they even going to show up? It's a lot that goes with, and my father's dead. Tell me a little bit about that when you had to do your program. Who was the program for?
It was for my grandmother and my grandfather.
Okay.
I took up their responsibility to do them both. It's hard telling someone else's story, even though you live with them your whole life or been around them. It's hard when it comes to that time, and you have to summarize their life of many years into this one piece of paper that you have to tell in their life.
So how old was your grandparents?
Our grandparents, when they both passed, they was in their late 70s.
Late 70s, they had lived over 70-some years, and I have to summarize it in 5 paragraphs. I mean, it's like, what are you joking? I got to talk about when they were born, what they did, what they didn't do, they died, and they got some folks left over, and you want me to summarize that all up on one sheet of paper. And that's the reality of it. So, yeah, that becomes very difficult, especially considering I'm not a professional writer. I have a friend of mine that writes obituaries for families, but he's also been on the front page of Sports Illustrated. He's right here in Dallas, graduated Skyline High School with me. He's a professional writer. Did you know that families can actually hire a professional writer to write their obituary?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can just tell my good friend the story. You tell him who your loved one is. You tell him about your loved one. He's a professional, and he will write your loved one's obituary. Isn't that something?
Yes.
Now, how many people out there are saying, listen, I didn't even know that even exists, first of all. Second of all, 99% of people don't use professional writers. So I don't know how to put things together. So normally we write programs from old programs. Right or wrong. They were born. They accepted Christ at a young age. They were born to. They leave. This certain person cherished their memories. They was preceded in death by another person. We got that from other programs. Now, I am a firm believer, and I don't know if you guys saw my dad's program, but maybe put one on here one day, in that a obituary, this is my belief, should not recognize anyone except for the deceased person.
Yes, you want it to be personalized to your loved one.
Okay, because I did not put any of my dad's children on his program. Did you know that in the obituary?
Yeah.
Nobody, ain't nobody on there. It ain't your program. I'm gonna put your name on there. Now they each got the opportunity to do a tribute, right? But you ain't getting your name on the program. It's not your program. What you mean you precede him to death? It's not your program. We ain't talking about you. We're talking about him. And when I die, don't you put none of my kids' name on my program. When they die, they put their name on their own program.
Oh, yeah, they didn't write.
No. Now, some of you watching, some of you listening, you're saying, John, wait a minute, you crazy. I would never do that. I want to do this. Or I want to do that. Whatever you choose, is exactly what she says, that you need to write your own program. That's really what it boils down to, because I have my way of thinking. You have your way of thinking. Some things can cause miss a name on a program.
It's a problem.
What? Okay. Oh man, you didn't put so and so on here, man. Listen, I'm dealing with the death of my loved one. I'm going through the 5 stages of grief. I don't remember everybody's name. Just not gonna happen. You're gonna hold me responsible for remembering everything while I have to make funeral arrangements, while I have to grieve my loved one and deal with all the business. Writing a program is hard.
Writing a program is hard. And not only would you want to write your story so your loved one could tell your life after you pass on, but to find someone that you know that is going to be fair, well-rounded for the whole family, and not make it about themselves, other than you.
Other than you. Because you have to be careful with that. If I write your program, you can rest sure I'm going to be on there. Rest of them ain't going to make it. You can rest assured whoever turns in the program got control over the program. This is my favorite part. I would say, and you corrected me, 8 out of 10 families make corrections.
Correct.
And what I mean by make corrections, they would turn in a program. 8 out of 10 would turn in a program. And then when they come to proof the program, they'll change something. Because normally something comes to mind, or some family member, someone has called them and said to them, oh, wait a minute, you forgot so-and-so. Oh, I forgot to put this on here. Oh, I should have done this. 8 out of 10. What if you're using a funeral home or using someone and say, once you turn it in, that's it?
That's a problem for you.
Okay. So that's one of the things you need to consider as well, is that it's a one-timer. You say, what do you mean it's a one-timer? Well, you only have one funeral. If the program is incorrect, you have an incorrect program at the funeral. Now, you can come back later and correct it and print out some for keepsakes, because I think keepsakes is very important. But at the funeral itself, you want to give out the very best program you can.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Because once that moment is gone, you can't get that moment back. You can look at it and have the memory if you redo your program, but at that moment, you want everything to be the very best that it can be for your loved one.
I tell you 2 things. Headstones. I say headstones because it's permanent. Everybody, all the public, anybody who goes out there to bury their loved one in the same cemetery or go visit their loved one, they see your headstone. Headstones are very important. Because listen, I travel all over the world. I had the opportunity to just come back from the Holy Land. Unbelievable experience. Yeah, one of the things that are still there are stones. Stones are still there. Y'all, stones last for thousands of years. I mean, they last for thousands of years. Your stone is what people use and read. That's how important it is. But another thing that's important is programs. People keep programs because now we have them in a digital form. We also have them in paper form. You normally going to keep your mama's program. You're going to keep your daddy's program. You're going to keep your child's program. Y'all, those are the only 2 things that's left after the funerals. Flowers will wither. Casket is buried. Body is buried or cremated. Y'all, only thing left is that program that I get to keep in my home, that I get to look back over. That program is very important. One of the least expensive things you'll spend your money on, but probably one of the most important things that we do. What do you think, Tanya?
Yes, it's so true. And the last thing you want to do is look back at that program over the years and say, hey, they misspelled my auntie's name or my father's middle name. And those things will bother you because you'd be like, well, this was very important to me. Did they not think it was that important to make sure this name was spelled correctly?
You know what's really sad? It would be nice if I had someone else to blame. But what if it was me? I wrote it wrong. I turned it in wrong. And then I found out later on it was incorrect, but it was too late. Now I'm going to blame myself Now, that's a really tough situation. So how do we avoid that? I know we're doing an Ask Undertaker show, so let's talk a little bit about it. Write out your own program. You write out your program. Don't put your grieving family in a position where they have to write out your program. You said, what if I write it out? Who's going to find it? Well, you write it out digitally. You put it, we always texting folks. We always emailing folks. Email someone you trust. Text someone you trust your obituary. Then they're going to look at your train. Why you plan on dying? You plan on committing suicide? You plan on you sick or something? No. I just want my program right. Not only do I want my program right, I don't want to put you in a position that you are struggling to write my program. Go ahead. That's right. And what you want to put on your program?
The life of me.
The life of you. Let's talk about it. Go. Let's talk a little bit about Kenyatta. What's the first thing? How's your program? It's going to be in love and memory of, or celebration of, or what? Let's start from the front.
Hot out the heavenly press. Here comes Kenyatta.
So that's what you want on the front of your program. Yeah. Hot off the heavenly press. Here comes Kenyatta. You want your whole name, Kenyatta? What?
Kenyatta Michelle Caldwell.
You want all on there? Kenyatta Michelle Caldwell. Kenyatta's 8 letters. What is Michelle? That's about 8 or 9. And then Caldwell. We want them all. We want them all. We want them all. We want them all on there. And y'all see she wants some. I would have never thought about it. You want your picture on the front?
Of course, with a lot of them.
You want on the front program?
I want a lot of the pictures.
On the front of the program?
Yes.
On the front? More than one picture? You and who else?
Me.
Just you? You gonna be that selfish? Ain't gonna have a picture in your
on the front? Of course, just me.
Just you on the front? Okay. I've never seen a collage of pictures on the front program. Anybody ever seen that before? I've seen like 3 or 4 program pictures on the front of the program before, and I've been doing this 43 years. I saw like a baby picture, a middle-aged picture, and an older picture on the front of the program. I thought that was really sharp. Kind of tell me who they were. So you want how many?
Page.
Fill the page. So be looking at these squares of picture, and then straight off the heavenly press, here comes Kenyatta Michelle Caldwell. All right, open it up. At the top, what's it gonna say? And she write programs for a living, y'all. So I know it's difficult for you. If she has to overthink it or have to think it, just think about what you're going through. And she writes thousands of programs a year. I can tell you my front page is nothing but a picture of me. Don't put any writing. I just want my picture. I want you to be able to take my program and frame it. And you just have a picture of me. What's my name? John Edward Beckwith Jr. That's it. You will have a picture of me that you can put in a frame and put it on the wall. That's why I want the front of my program. Don't put anything on there. So I want to fill up the whole frame now. I don't want anything else on the frame. I don't want no clouds. I don't want no flowers. I don't want no color theme. I don't want any of that. But you put down this love and memory of. I know who I am. A celebration of. No. Date of birth, death. Put that on the inside. I just want a picture. If I took a picture and framed it and gave it to you, would it have in love and memory on it? Would it say best friend? Would it? No. Just a picture. I want that on the front and I want that on the back. So it doesn't matter which way you turn your program, if it's facing me, don't you have no advertising on the back of my program? Don't you have no acknowledgement on the back of my program? Don't you have nobody Paul Bear's name on my program? Not on my program, it's my program. I want my picture on the front and I want my name. I want my picture on the back and my name. Period. It's my program. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What you gonna put on the inside?
That is very correct. Either my way or having Mr. Beckwith's way to be personalized is what it's for. To personalize you, your loved one. But many times, if you don't assign that person or write out your own program, that person that's doing your program will personalize it to their liking.
So let's do obituary. What you gonna put on the inside of your program?
So you have your life
yours. I ain't talking about nobody else. I'm talking about yours. What's on the inside yours?
The story of my life.
Which is?
I'm a
What's the heading gonna say? What the heading gonna say? Is it gonna say obituaries? Is it gonna say in love and memory of? It's gonna say story of Kenyatta Michelle Caldwell life. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and I was born in a small town called Farmersville, Louisiana, to the parents of Sherry Turner and Cortez Russell.
Okay, it's gonna say that on there. Farmersville, Louisiana. I've been to Farmersville. Got a lake in Farmersville, really pretty lake.
Yeah, but I want them to emphasize small town too. I'm a small town girl. Come to the big city life.
We're gonna see all that in there. Break it down. What else gonna be in there? Gonna tell you about how you used to dance at the club? Yeah. What is it gonna say? Come on now. You gotta come on with it. We're trying to help the public right now. They watching, they listening. We ain't trying to throw nothing at you. We're gonna tell you what we gonna do, because I want you to tell us what you gonna do. The reason why I shouldn't be on here pointing a finger saying you need to. No. Let's talk about what I'm gonna do. And then maybe that would inspire you on what you should do. Come on, Ken, y'all. I can tell you on the inside of mine. All about me. All about me. All about who?
Yeah.
Me. Aline Beckwith, I already had a program. She don't need to be on mine. John Beckwith Jr. already had a program. His program. You don't need to be on mine. Me. You can just write the words. Me. Got the same resume I used to try to get a job, the same bio I used on the website, the same bio I used to be introduced before I preach. That's going on my program. Talk about me. This voice you're going to hear is me. That's what I want on my program. What kids? They get their own program. They died, they can have their own program. They don't need to be on my program, who I had kids with and who I had about. Ain't none of your business. Me. What school I went to. What I did in life. Me, and me. What you gonna have on you?
Well, once you get past all like me
and
ain't
me.
Order of service, because that's not going
Okay, you don't change the page. You don't change the page. All right. So we got off of you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Who you gonna put in your survivor?
Survived by my mom, my brothers, my niece, my nephews.
I know my mom and my brothers ain't make nothing of my program. What is gonna be this?
My best friends.
You gonna have their name in your program? Okay. What is gonna be in your program? Where you work?
Yeah.
Get John Beckwith before I go there. Work with it.
Long as employment, so of course it will be in it.
All right. The IPP trying to look out for them sales. You don't have to worry about that on mine. What's gonna be in mine? Me, and me. Let's go to the order of service. Come on, let's help the people out that's watching and that's listening on writing an order of service. What's the first thing you want to happen at your funeral?
So the first thing, I want some soft music playing. As my family and friends walk in. Okay. After that, they can do a prayer or congregational song together in remembrance of me.
I bet she got this out somebody else's program for this.
It's a traditional one.
Traditional program.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Mr. Beckwith for a second. Me. I don't want no soft music. I don't even know what soft music is. You better play my favorite song. What song do I play in the morning? You know what song I play. It need to be playing at my. I don't want to hear no songs I didn't like. I don't want to hear your song. Yeah, I don't like solos. Don't you let nobody sing at my funeral unless it's my favorite artist. Don't you let nobody from church sing at my funeral. Don't you let no preacher get up and sing at my funeral. Either my favorite artist is available or play the track. Don't, you ain't get to get up and mess up my film because you can't sing. I'm hoarse today. I ain't feeling good. I got a cold. I got the sniffle. You can't hit a tune. The musician is off. You off. No. I'm sorry, go ahead. In writing, either the artist I love is yet alive and available to sing at my funeral. If the artist of my favorite song is unavailable, play the track. No soft music, no funeral music, only my music. I ain't taking no chance with y'all.
That's gonna be hard because in your family you got the one singer that's gonna sing.
She can sing at the wake.
She's gonna sing a song. Guaranteed.
At the funeral. I better tackle her. Don't you let her mess up my funeral. She may be out that day. Hey, well, not yours. I seen her do it. No, ma'am. Ain't gonna happen, Captain. All right, let's go. Let's talk about it. Do you need a scripture and prayer at every funeral? Or is that just for balance?
I think it's just a formal way of tradition that we started. A lot of times we do not use it. A lot of times family don't want it.
Yeah, let's have scripture. Let's have scripture and prayer at everything.
Once you say the prayer, I don't think that it's necessary because once it comes to the eulogy, he's gonna take you to heaven if that's where you're going. It's not.
You know who preach? I've seen preachers go to Flunkerville at funeral. I've seen families mad at the end of funerals because preacher ain't said that. Oh, he said too much.
I've been in the service like that.
Right. So you know, Am I going to take a chance with the eulogist? No, nope, nope, nope. Who preaching my funeral? Write it down. Me. Y'all just don't play me. And it's just going to be a video of me preaching my funeral. Look me up on the screen. Y'all, I went to London the other day. I was coming back from holiday. I stopped in London on the way back home. And there was a lady standing in the middle of the airport telling people which way to go. It wasn't a real person. It was like a hologram. And she was talking. If you're going to BA, turn left. It was a hologram.
So that's what we're going to have.
Hologram. I'm preaching my own funeral. Hologram. You gonna pull up. He's just gonna pull up. Ooh, wait, Mr. Beckwith. I'm gonna preach my own funeral. Me. If I could sing, I would do my own solo. I just can't sing. That's why they're gonna have a funeral. Who preaches the funeral? I can't go to Funkerville at my own. No, you can't. Yeah. What about you? Who preaches your funeral? Me. Go ahead.
One of my childhood pastors who
you know, grandmama up ain't seen you as no duck, don't know nothing about you. You know that you did Ariel Blue. That's what he gonna say. You don't remember you baby Jesus. You know Jesus grew up at one point he became an adult, right? You're gonna be preaching about baby Jesus. We need Reb Ivory, Reb Ita preach up. Yeah. I can preach up if you want me to. You gonna go get a child. Well, let's talk about remarks then. How important is remarks on funerals? How important are remarks on funerals? Let's talk about that. Are you gonna have open remarks at your funeral?
Yes.
You're gonna just let anybody go up and say anything. It could be an ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
I
would hopefully they keep it respectful.
We don't know. He gonna get up and before we know it, he done said it. What? We're gonna be like, what? Because you ain't just been to a funeral, they say, what? I done been to a funeral that the fight broke out because of the remarks at the funeral. Okay. So you're gonna actually.
Well, now that you mention that, make me.
I don't recommend open remarks at nobody. You don't ever open the floor. Y'all, they don't even open the floor at PTA meetings. They don't open the floor at board meetings. You don't open no floor to nobody. You never know who's gonna get that mic and what they gonna say. That's just me. Now I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. Go ahead, number 2 minutes.
I would know the ones that like get out of hand. So
how you gonna know you're gonna be dead?
So I would find people that that's gonna do something.
No more open remarks.
No, open remarks is
You scared. I killed it for him.
I said the thing that probably should stay in it.
All of that. I'm trying to help somebody today, y'all, on writing programs in obituaries. Y'all, I personally would not have open remarks. If you're not on the program, you will not speak at my funeral. I will have several services, though. Several. I mean, several. I mean, a lot of them. I was at 5, and then I went up to like 7 funerals.
Well, you just did.
That's me. I'm gonna have about 7 different funerals because I got these different hats that I wore in life. So I have to have 7 different programs. Did you know that? Because not all the services are going to be different, right? I'm a preacher, so I got to have a preacher's funeral, but it ain't gonna be my last funeral. I'm Omega Sci-Fi. I got to have, they come in and sing the song. And when you said your last goodbye, all that stuff. We're gonna do all that, right? Right. So I got a lot going on. I'm a police officer, police, all kinds of stuff. I just got a lot. I got a lot on the funeral home. I got to have a funeral for my staff. Y'all got to get up and y'all look crazy. Y'all got to say something about me. Much lectures I give y'all 24/7. Y'all better get up and say something, as Bobo would say. I'm just saying. I got to have several funerals.
Me myself, I might have 2. One here in Dallas and another one in Louisiana.
Anybody still remember uniforms?
Yes.
So let's talk about that, y'all. So, part of the program, one thing we got to put on there is where we're going to bury you. Or if we're going to cremate you. You want to be taken back home for burial?
Yes.
All right, what's up?
Marian Baptist.
Marian Baptist Cemetery. Marian Baptist Church Cemetery. That's where we're going to bury you. Even if you stay here 100 years, we're still taking you back to Marian Baptist. So anybody know your family's buried in the cemetery, y'all want to be buried together.
Yes.
That's what we call family plots. Isn't that something, y'all? Our family is very locally here too. So not that many of us have died. So you got mom, you got dad, you have brother Michael. They're all deceased. They're all there right there by each other. So I guess if one of us died, they probably gonna bury them. It just makes sense. That block. I don't go visit the cemetery. Did you know we don't visit the cemetery?
I remember you said.
Yeah. What about you?
I'd like to visit. especially on birthdays. If we get together on Thanksgiving or Christmas, likes to go to the cemetery just to talk with your loved one. Even though you can talk with them at any time, just to show your presence
So
there.
on your program, do you want where you're buried so people know where you are?
Yes.
To know where you're going. I want that on mine too, but on the inside, not on the
back.
outside, not on the back, no, because it's all about me. So let's go back into that order of service. So prayer and scripture is not necessary for mine. Okay. But yours you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Open
remarks, definitely not for me, but you saying you changed your mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna find some people that
Solos, definitely not for me unless my favorite artist is available.
Solos, I'm fine with it.
Who gonna sing?
Whoever would like to, I guess.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know about my friends being no singers, so they might have to
just get
play it on a playlist.
But don't know me. All right, eulogy. I say I preach my own hologram.
I have a childhood.
You have a childhood pastor that's yet alive. If he died, then we get another childhood pastor, sister pastor.
To my family, have to sign something.
They on their own on the eulogy thing. All right, parting view at the end of the service or at the beginning. Go.
I won't mind at the end. Coming in, I think it would be too much to continue a service because they're going to be so sad that I'm gone, so they're not going to be able to continue the service. So we're going to just do it at the end.
Okay. Now, a good friend of mine, she pastored a church here in Dallas, one of the first pastors I've ever met for many years. This is what she required, that the casket had to stay open the entire time. She required that. She said the funeral is for the people to say goodbye to their loved one, never close the casket. She would not allow us to close the casket at her church. So we get there about an hour early, set the body up, body is viewed, before the family arrived, when the family arrived, the body is viewed the entire time. They sit there and they look at their loved one the entire time. Isn't that something? And everything is done. Eulogy is done. Everything is done while their loved one was open. I thought that was really interesting. She believed in that. I respected that. I think it definitely had value. So for those who are watching, listening, remember that is an option. You can leave your casket open the entire time. They got to make sure it's okay with the facilities where you are. What do you mean by facilities? Let's say if you're a member of a church, you got to check with the head of the church. If you want to use a venue, you have to check with the venue to see if they can have an open casket service. But just remember, there's an option. You can view at the beginning of the service. You can view at the end of the service. You can view in the middle of a service. You can view the entire service. That's really up to you. So a lot of people don't know they have those options. But
I didn't know that the option is to keep it open the entire time.
Now remember, if I go to someone's venue, it's really up to them. So remember, if I went to her venue, it was open the entire time. And then families would say, close the casket. Like, nope, don't have it at her church if you don't want to have it open. Some churches will tell you only can view at the beginning. That is their rules. My mom's funeral, my daddy's funeral, my brother's funeral. All those are viewed at the very beginning. We thought it was better as a family, and then the venue where we had the services required it as well.
Yeah, that's very important to know those things and where you're going to go.
So Kenyatta said she wanted her viewing at the end, so she had to be at a venue that would allow that to happen. So where we having your funeral? Where you go to church?
I went to the church at Jerusalem in Mary.
So they let you view at the end?
Either option.
It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that makes a big difference, y'all, because we're talking about viewing. Are you even a member of the church? Yes, I got to ask people that. I mean, I'm talking to the public right now. Are you a member of your mom's church? That's really not your church. You don't ever go up there and got baptized there, but you don't go there. No. And a lot of times we put pressure on churches to say, my family goes to the church. It's our family church, so we should be allowed to have a funeral there. That's not always true. Be mindful of that. There's a few things that happens in the church. First of all, the church has to open up. So there's going to take a human to go open it up. There has to be lights turned on, so there's an electricity bill that goes with that. There has to be a cleanup crew that cleans it up before and after. There's a bill that comes with that. There's wear and tear on the church itself anytime you open and allow people to come in. There have to be somebody present to make sure you don't tear up the house. So I'm not going to let somebody just go to my house and visit, and I'm not at the house, so I have to pay someone to attend it. and then close it back up. So there are expenses when it comes to churches. Some people want to eat at the church. They want to have repasts at the church. Now, all those things cost money. Now, normally, if you're a member of the church, that's normally not an issue. Honorarium should be an issue, though. I mean, your pastor got up to preach, the pastor got up, he showed up, the church showed up. You got to do something for the church. I would think that you would do something for the church, something for the pastor. Also, if you're not a member, remember, you're basically at this point renting a venue. What do you think about that?
That thing is very important when you're getting yourself together, when you write your program, to know the place that's going to be able to house you and your family at that time of need.
So is the venue big enough? Is it working for you? They allow you to view the time you want to be there. And all those things have to be on the program, so you have to get that understanding. Now, you want to go back to Marion for your film?
Mm-hmm.
So does your church charge?
No.
All right, producer, what you got for me?
A live question. What if the family chooses not to honor your program?
Okay. So you say honor your program. Remember, your family will be the ones who speak. Deceased person cannot speak for themselves. You have to have someone you trust to speak for you when you can't speak for yourself. We call that person the right of disposition. They do not have to be a family member. You must put them in a position that they are in charge of your funeral, not your family. There's a sheet of paper at Golden Gate Funeral Home. You come here, we get you to sign it, we get it notarized for you, and you pick one person you trust that's going to follow your wishes, and you give them the right of disposition, and you leave them the money to pay for your funeral. That way, I don't have to bank on my family. And you know who's in your family that's going to act up. You know who's in your family that's not going to act right. So whatever you do, you don't put them in charge. Right of disposition gives me complete control over your program, over your order of service. Money gives me the money to pay for your wishes. And then that way you can make sure that they follow your wishes. I hope that answered that person. That is very important. You got to have a right of disposition. All right, let's talk a little bit about it. We talked about viewings. We talked about location, that we need to give some type of honorarium, that churches are not free of charge. So we're going to give honorarium to the church in Marion.
Yes.
Do they charge staff?
They don't. But just the fact that I haven't been there in many years to have my service there, yes.
You think they're going to deny you a funeral?
No.
They ain't been there. They don't know you. They've got a new pastor. Hey, y'all, we come down there for a funeral. Yeah, they're like, who? You know, my grandmama used to go there.
That's how they go.
Grandma ain't there no more. That's what people think. They think because your grandma went to church, you get to still go to church. You think because your grandma had a funeral, you get to have a funeral. It don't work like that, Cal. You better get in touch with the church. You better start sending them something once a week. I don't know, you still a member, and you want to be buried there. You need to do something, as Bobo said. You better buy a door or something and put it in there, put your name on it or something. Just think you're just going to show. You know, black folks, we got that the worst. We think once a member of a church, we are always a member. That is not true. Every now and then, a church needs to purge its list. Because guess what? When a new pastor comes, you're going to want to come vote for the pastor. And you ain't been a member in 50 years. I'm on a roll. I should have a vote. You shouldn't have a vote. You don't even go to church here. But as soon as we have a vote, 1,000 folks show up and all 100 people come to church. I would have one Sunday if I was pastor. If I was pastor, I just have one Sunday. Just put out a flyer. Everybody don't show up this Sunday, name coming off the road. You better show up via internet or something. Your name coming off the road. We're going to start all back on. How many members we got? We're going to know our exact number. Anyway, go ahead.
Not only do they want you to get to your order of service, you also want to make sure that you know how many people will be inside of your program. So you don't want to just pollute it with tributes of people that didn't really associate with you. Just want to be inside your program for others to see that they said
So what are
some
you
words.
saying? Like friends or relatives? What are you talking about?
I'm saying make you a list of people that you want to have something to say about you. Just same way
You talking about tributes?
Yes.
Okay.
Inside your program.
Okay. What about grandkids? Should they have pre-tributes?
No.
What about siblings? Should they have tributes?
Yes. Your parents, your siblings, I would see them. Anything other than that, unless you raise
What
them.
if you had a favorite cousin? Our favorite niece, like Dad and Michael Beckwith was really, really close. So we didn't allow any other nephews or nieces to have tributes. But he did.
A significant role in my life. Of course, you can have a tribute.
Like Trevor said, move. You'll know.
Yeah, I plan on writing that out.
You better write that out, huh? What do we say to people who's watching and listening right now? You better put, y'all see how difficult this can be? And think about how many services we do. We might do 20, 30 services in one day. Think about that. Think about that. She said in a week, we might do 50 in an entire week. We've had 37 funerals in one day. Now, that's a lot of people to have a funeral, a lot of people that's going through what we're going through. We're not talking about this happens every now and then. This happens every day, that people deal with program issues. And that's what the show is all about. We say Ask the Undertaker. Hopefully you'll watch or listen to Golden Gate Ask the Undertaker show and say, listen, it was helpful. We try not to make it just way too serious of this. And we might laugh a little bit, but we understand the seriousness of what we do. But we want you to be able to figure this out while you're yet alive. Not only for yourself, but also remember you're responsible for your loved ones. So not only am I responsible for my program, I'm responsible for my mother's. Because my mother might say, hey, I'm not going to do that. So I have to do it with her permission, dad, siblings, or whatever. Because they don't listen to Ask Undertaker. They don't watch Ask Undertaker. You do. It's always that one person in the family that handles everybody's funeral. Did you know that? Yeah, it's always that one person everybody go to and they call when someone passes away. If that's you, you need to be the one that hold this conversation before they pass away so it doesn't become an issue when they pass away. So the number one thing we would always say is make sure you write your own program, pick out your own funeral. And whatever you may want, if you're as eccentric as I am, or if you may be as conservative as Kenyatta, whatever your wishes are, they are your wishes. We use this big word, and a lot of people say, what does it mean? It's called a pre-need, meaning that you take care of it before you actually need it. And that's all pre-need is. So we recommend everybody do a pre-need. Pre-need your obituary, pre-need your order of service, pre-need your program, pre-need everything, meaning I do it before I actually need it. Remember, your wishes has to be paid for. Yeah, the best way to pay for anything is with insurance. I tell you, if I had a wreck today in my car, I'm calling the insurance. If I have something wrong with my house, I'm calling the homeowner's insurance. I'm telling you, I'm insurance on everything. And that's what we do. If somebody steal my credit card, I'm gonna call a credit card company and say, I know y'all got an insurance company or something that covers these expenses. I'm not paying for it. So I call the insurance company. And when someone passes away, you should be able to call the insurance company to pay for their wishes. So important. You guys, third thing is that last will and testament. So a lot of times people think that programs and things of that sort is the last will and testament. This is where I put everything. That's just not true, Kenya. You don't put everything in your last will and testament. So what is this that I put in the last will and testament? Remember, your funeral part should be in your pre-need. In your last will and testament should have three things. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Number one, everybody you owe. You know who you owe? Yes. You know who you owe. Guess who don't know who you owe? My family. And I don't. You need to put that in your last, not in your pre-need. Everybody you owe. We don't want them coming back, surprising us later, talking about they're going to come take my estate, my inheritance, because you owe them. Just write down who you owe. Write down, number two, everything you own. Guess who knows everything you own? You do. Not your family, not your friends, not your co-workers. You have to write down everyone you owe and everything you Own. That's the number 2 thing. Everything you owe, everything you own. And then number 3, what you want us to do with it. That's it. That's all a last will and testament is. Everything you own, everything owe, and what you want us to do with it. What do you want me to do about that bill? Don't pay him, ain't never like it. Okay, we won't pay him. Now they're gonna come back and sue us and get our inheritance. So we might have to pay him. What you gonna do with everything you own? Who do you want me to give it to? Do you want me to sell it to Army? You want me to give it to your favorite niece? Just what you want me to do? You want me to sell it? What is it that you want me to do with what you own? That's all it is. Keep it simple. Date it. Get it notarized and get it witnessed. Mm-hmm. That's it. How important is that? Extremely important. Y'all would say something like this: chaos. Anybody ever had chaos in your family? It's chaos. Anybody ever had confusion in your family? Confusion. Chaos and confusion can be eliminated with just a last will and testament. It can be eliminated. Some things can be eliminated with those things. All right, you guys, we got to talk a little bit about a living will. Now, a lot of people don't know this about you, King, is that you worked as a caretaker. She worked as a caretaker. She was my father's chief caretaker before she started working full-time at the funeral home. And my father had gotten to a point where he was unable to speak for himself, right? So I had to speak on his behalf. I was his medical power of attorney. So I would speak on his behalf. I would say, buy dad this, buy him that. Don't do this, do that. And had complete control over that. Isn't that crazy? That you have to trust somebody when you can't speak for yourself. Woo! What if he didn't have that in place? Chaos and confusion, because he had 5 children. He has grandchildren. He has nieces. He has nephews. Everybody would have had an opinion. And they all did. But it doesn't matter when you have someone in charge. When you have a living will, not only did we have someone that would speak on his behalf, he had money set aside to pay, that he never had to go to a nursing home, that he was able to always live in his home, always have a private staff available to take care of him. And dad was paralyzed, y'all. This is no exaggeration, for over 20 years. Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. And he was still able to travel, still able to live his life, still able to go where you want to go, do what you want to do. All his life until the last couple of weeks before his death, he was still able to do what he wanted to do. All because there was a living will in place, and it was financed. We know his wishes. We knew his wishes. Junior, I don't want to go to the nursing home. I want to be able to live in my own home. I want to be able to still go to conventions. I still want to be able to go places. You put that in writing, and then you need to be able to finance that. How important is a living will? It's very important. Because I need to know what to do with you even before you. There's some bank accounts out there. And every one of them need a, come on, payable on debt. You sound like you know somebody, a beneficiary of a bank account. You and this ass Undertaker, you've been listening to a long time. Y'all listen, I need to be able to, first of all, know which bank to go to. I need to know the banking account number. And I need to be able to walk in there and say, hey, I'm John Beckwith Jr. I'm the beneficiary of this account. Give me that money out there. And I get it. Bottom line, it's that simple. Guess how much it costs you to put me on there? Nothing. Yeah, it don't even cost a lot of time. It's a very short period of time. Walk in the bank, say, I got an account. I need to put a payable on that. Don't let him get my money before I die. Don't even let him know what the balance is before I die. But when I die, give him the money. Yeah, that's not asking too much. Not at all. Now, one person came in and asked a question and said, what do I do when I think my family ain't going to do what I asked them to do? Well, that brings us back to right of disposition. Y'all, this is a tough one, because it's almost like you're saying to yourself or saying to the other family members, I don't trust you. Y'all, the only time that person will pull a rank on your family, the only time right of disposition even comes up is when they're not acting right. Now, just because you make me right of disposition, I won't even tell your family unless they're not doing what you asked them to do. I would never start the conversation off with "I'm in charge." I would say nothing until they cross the line, and then you need a stick to knock them back over. And the stick is a right. Everybody needs a stick. And that stick is right disposition. You got to trust the person you get the right disposition to, that they don't come in acting crazy from the beginning. You have the right disposition. Only use it if they don't do what I ask. Only use it if they don't follow my wishes. Only bring it up. Y'all, don't tell my wife that I put something over her. Don't tell my mama you put something over her. Don't tell my daddy you can pull a rank if you wanted to. Don't do that. The only time you pop out a right of disposition is when people are not doing what the deceased asked. And the first thing I'm going to say is do what they asked. They say, I ain't going to do it. And the second thing I'll be like, yes, you are. Because here's the secret. Remember, I need to know where everything is. If you got a right disposition and I don't know where it is, guess what? You don't have a right disposition. If you have insurance, I don't know where it is, you don't have insurance. If you have a last will and testament, I don't know where it is, you don't have a last will and testament. If you have money in the bank, I don't know where it is, you don't have money in the bank. What we don't know, if you haven't done a letter of last instructions, if you don't tell us where everything is, it don't exist. Or if you tell the wrong person where it is, it won't exist. Tell the wrong person where the last will and testament is, and they not in the last will and testament. Last will and testament don't exist. It'll be that simple. Tell me where it is, and don't put me in it. I'm just joking. Maybe I'm not. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you're going to do a letter of last instructions, make sure that letter of last instructions go to someone you trust going to do the right thing. It does not have to be a family member. It doesn't even have to be a friend. It could be some type of law firm or someone you trust that's going to do what you ask them to do. You guys, I want to ask you to continue to tune in every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're going to be right here every Saturday morning for Ask the Undertaker. Now, every day, Monday through Friday, we do a morning drive. So it's the morning drive with the Undertaker. Miss Marlonda Taylor is my co-host. You guys, we have a good time. We're not talking funeral business. We're talking in general. I think it's something you would really enjoy. It's live on my Facebook every morning, Monday through Friday. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. So we will see you on next week. Bye-bye.
Well, you've been listening to Ask the Undertaker, an inside open look at the funeral home